All right, onwards to the class cards. All right, of course, class cards usually have a lot of synergy to them, and with Druid, we're gonna see a new mechanic, which is Hand Druid. Okay, so first of all, we have the Witchwood Apple. It's a 2-mana spell that adds 2 mana 2/2 treants to your hand. So it's a 2-mana draw 3. Now, honestly, 2 mana 2/2s are not that good. So you really have to look to get the Hand Druid mechanic working. And man, this is just it's cute, but like it's 2 mana draw 3, 2 mana 2/2s. They're not even good, dude. Why would you want 2 mana 2/2s? I don't like Witchwood Apple. I think it's just gonna be bad. And sure, it's an activator for your hand buff cards, but there's just so much more stuff they can do with it. So I think this is 0. Hand Druid can do something else with this. Next we have Ferocious Howl. For 3 mana, you draw a card, and then you gain an armor for each card in your hand, including the card you've drawn. Very similar to Shield Block. And I think this might actually be the best armor gain card that we've seen for Druids in a while, right? We see Healing Touch, we see Feral Rage, we see like, Branching Paths, for example, and those are kind of awkward. This is actually, in a sense, better than Branching Paths, because it's a 4 mana, which is doing exactly what Branching Paths is supposed to do, right? It gains armor and draws a card. So I think this is actually pretty good, especially for like a ramp druid and like a big druid, right? So I think this is reasonable. I don't think this is bad. The fact that it replaces itself means that it can always be good, right? And the fact that you are playing this in the ramp deck means that 3 mana is also kind of negligible. So I think that Ferocious Howl has a little potential. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Druid at the Scythe is 3 mana 2/2, but it's not really a 3 mana 2/2. You get to transform it into a 4/2 Rush or a 2/4 Taunt. 2/4 Taunt is useless. Okay, it's a Squirming Tentacle. And a 4/2 Rush is a Huffer that can't go face. I can't see this card being good. I think this is actually a 0 stars. And Fandral Staghelm is also rotating out, which means that you can't actually get a 4/4 Rush Taunt. Although 3 mana 4/4 Rush Taunt is not really breaking the game anyways. So yeah, 0. Next up, Witching Hour. 3 mana, you summon a random friendly beast that died this game. This actually has a lot of potential, right? This is a 3 mana resurrect effect. And if you play specific beasts that are only good, like only big, so imagine if you're playing only the new Grizzly Bear, the 3 mana 3/11 or 3/12 taunt, and you're playing Tyrantus, you're playing some more beasts from Ungoro, this can actually get really ridiculous. Like, it's cheating on mana. And cheating mana is always good. What's also very interesting is also you can play Charged Devilsaur, and you play this, and it's a 3 mana 7/7 charge. It can actually hit anything because of the pseudo rush wording on it. So I think Witching Hour has a lot of potential, and I think cheating mana is what you want to do in Constructed anyways. So I think Witching Hour is actually a 4-star card. Very, very good. Next up, we have Force Guide. 4 mana 1/6. Okay, that's pretty shitty. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card. So Cold Light Oracle died for this, man. Alright, Cold Light Oracle died for this card. I just don't think this card is good. I mean, sure, you can Mill Druid, but like, there's just not enough pieces for Mill Druid to be good, right? There's only Naturalize, and there's like the Forest Guide now, and yeah, this is not gonna really happen. The good part about this is that your opponent does need to interact with it pretty much. I just don't see this happening. I really don't see this happening. I'm gonna give this 0. Bewitched Guardian is a 5 mana 4/1. It has Taunt, and it gains +1 health for each card in your hand. So it's effectively a Twilight Drake, but it has Taunt. I just don't see this happening. I mean, sure, you can play Big Druid and have a taunted Twilight Drake, but man, it's the 1 mana extra cost is very expensive, and you're also playing this. Like, it's very susceptible to a lot of things, right? Like, if this gets silenced or this gets removed, then it's pretty much a normal minion. Like, why not just play Druid Claw instead and have a very, and have like a charge, flexibility? I just don't see this happening. I'm just gonna give this 1 star. It's not a bad card, but it's a bad card. As in, like, there are so many better options in this. Whispering Woods. For 4 mana, you get to summon a 1/1 Wisp for each card in your hand. I mean, if you're a hand Druid, and you play this, you're like playing a tempo game, right? I mean, this is a really strong card. For 4 mana, you get upwards to a 7/7, right? 4 mana 7/7, we know are like that's playable. But man, this is like a very big deck building challenge. If you can somehow buff the 1/1s, then it'll be much better. Man, you're really playing a lot. Yeah, your deck has to be crafted so well because has to attack in so many angles. You need to draw more cards. You can't play stuff on the board, but you want to play stuff on the board so you can put more pressure over the 1/1s. Yeah, this one is I'm kind of off this. You just try to do too many things. So I'm gonna give this 1 star. Bloomstag is a 5 mana 2/6 with taunt, okay? And if your deck is only odd cost cards, you gain +2/+2. So that is actually a kind of interesting card, right? I mean, odd cost Druid, is that a thing? Because if you play odd cost Druid, this is a 5 mana 4/8 taunt, and 5 mana 4/8 taunt is really above schedule. I just don't see this being a thing, because you lose Wrath, you lose Swipe, you lose Wild Growth, you lose all those. You can play the 3 mana ramp cards. And if you play Baku with this, because obviously you're gonna play Baku with the odd Druid, right? Your hero part becomes a 2 mana, deal 2 damage, and gain 2 armor, right? So I can imagine this being like an aggro Druid. This could also be found in Quest Druid. We have to remember that Quest Druid is still in the game, right? Quest Druid needs you to play like 5 attack minions, and this is not 5 attack. Man, this is kind of weird. I'm not really sure if odd Druid is gonna be a thing. I just don't really see odd Druid being good. I feel like this is bad. I feel like Gloomstack is bad because odd cost Druid is bad. So I'm gonna give this 0. Quest Druid is mostly OTK. That is true. That is true. Alright, if you put it that way, that's reasonable. Alright, fine. Since Quest Druid does play OTK a lot of times, and this does get you to late game, okay, maybe there's a chance. With Baku and upgraded hero power, the hero power does gain 2 armor, which is reasonable. Wow, this is actually pretty interesting now. Alright, you know what? I changed my rating. I think in that specific thing, that could be really good. Because you also have the 3 mana 5/1, right? The 3 mana 5/1 dinosaur that adapts if you're holding a 5 attack minion. That actually is an odd card. So you can actually accelerate to the quest quite a bit. You know what? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna give this a little hope, okay? Now that I'm thinking about this more, I think this is fine. Wait, actually, is this fine? Dude, Moonfire is 0. What's a 1 cost card that has damage? Oh, man. What's a 1 cost card that has damage? Because Moonfire is 0. Living Roots is rotating out. Spellstone? Spellstone doesn't go face. Yikes. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have to see what happens with Odd Druid, right? This card in Odd Druid is good. So I'm just gonna give this 3 stars. It really depends on if you can combo this off with the OTK stuff. I think this card is good now because like the OTK thing makes sense. Alright, let's just keep it at 3. I think it's good. But whether Odd Druid is gonna be a thing, it really depends on what cards we have. Dustfallen Aviana is the legendary. For 5 mana you get a 3/7, and on each player's turn, the first card played costs 0. Oh my god, this card is so bonkers, man. Like, I just don't see this being good. How is this good? You play this and your opponent can just play a Death Knight. Oh my god, I think this is just unplayable. Sure, you can play a combo deck or whatnot, but your opponent plays whatever and then you're like sad. And your opponent can also kill this with their 0 cost bomb. I think this is just dust, man. I think this is just bad. I'm gonna give this 0. Splintergraph is an 8 mana 8/8 with choose a friendly minion, and you get to add a 10/10 copy to your hand that costs 10. So lots of value on this card. It's like an 18 mana card, but it's constructed. An 8 mana 8/8 do nothing. It's just gonna be bad. I don't think this is gonna work out, so I'm gonna give this a 0. I think this is actually just trash. Alright, onwards to Hunter. Hunting Mastiff. Or Hunting Mastiff. I don't know how to pronounce it. Hunting Dogo is a 2 mana 2/1, Echo and Rush. Yeah? That's just pretty good, right? You have Echo and you have Rush. Those are pretty good keywords together. It's kind of like a different Unleash the Hounds for sure. It cannot go face, but it trades very, very well, right? So at 10 mana, you can actually summon 5 of these, and you can trade them off as you wish, or you can keep them on the board. So I think this is like not unreasonable. The fact that it can scale is really, really nice. So I think Hunting Mastiff is actually pretty sweet. I like it. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I think this is sweet. This also works really well with Tundra Rhino, because if you're a Tundra Rhino, you can actually Pyroblast your opponent's face. You can actually just go all face, right? I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I like this card. Lots of combo potential. Dire Frenzy is a 4 mana, give a beast +3/+3, so it's a small Blessing of Kings, and you shuffle 3 copies of that beast into your deck with the buff. Alright, so you play this on like a beast like, I don't know, Stone Tusk Boar or Hyena or something like, you know, High Mane, maybe? Yeah, you can play this on, playing this on High Mane is not gonna be that good. You can play this on like Huffer, and then you get like a, what? You get a 3 mana 7/5 charge. I think it's okay. But I just think that there's just a lot of, like this is really hard to make work, I guess. You need to have a beast, and you need to play this, and you want to attack at this immediately, right? Because you want the +3/+3 to go first. I think Dire Frenzy is a little bit awkward, not as good as I previously thought. You put this on the 1-drop and it's the best. I think the best target for Dire Frenzy is 1-drops. So you might play this in Quest Hunter, and you can draw them up with the "Come to me, little ones." You know, the Tovir Warden. Yeah, I actually see this. Okay, so you play Quest Hunter, you play Tovir Warden, you play Dire Frenzy on your 1-drops, and you fetch them up with your Tovir Wardens. Okay, that's where this card goes into. Alright, so in that case, this is actually okay. I'm okay with this card now. I think this card is okay. I'm gonna give this 3 stars. Next up, Vilebud Skitter. It's a spooky spider. 5 mana 1/3 beast with poisonous and rush. So once again, I think this card is pretty unplayable, but the significance of this card is that it is found in Deathstalker Rexar. So you can actually make zombies that have poisonous and rush. And that is pretty exciting. So the card itself is 0 stars. I don't think you will ever play this. But the fact that you can combine it with Deathstalker Rexar makes Deathstalker Rexar maybe even better. Next up, we have a Duskhaven Hunter. For 3 mana, you get a 2/5 or 5/2 werewolf with stealth. I just don't see how this is going to break the game. 3 mana 2/5 is boring. 3 mana 5/2 stealth is pretty good, right? Because it can go face, but it doesn't have charge. Why do I want to play this when I can play charge minions? 0 stars. Next up, Wing Blast. For 4 mana, you deal 4 damage to a minion. Okay, that's pretty boring. And oh my god! If a minion died this turn, this costs 1. That's ridiculous. 1 mana deal 4 damage is insanely above the curve. And you're playing Hunter. Obviously, minions are gonna die left and right. So, man, I just don't see how this card is. You're playing a deck that really wants to go crazy early game, right? So 1 mana remove their minion, keep on playing minions, and keep on steady shotting, keep on going phase. This is amazing. Weapons can kill minions too. I just don't see how this is bad. 5 stars, baby! Next up, Carry On Drake, 5 mana 3/7 dragon. If a minion died this turn, it gains poisonous. Now, the stat line for this is really good. Unfortunately, it's found in Hunter, which is kind of weird. Like, this is gonna be so good if it's a priest dragon or something, right? Or it's the paladin dragon. But it's found in Hunter, and I don't think mid-range Hunter and control Hunter is ever gonna be a thing. They always wanted to make it a thing, right? But it really never became a thing. Call of the Wild was really what drove Hunter to be good, I guess. So yeah, mid-range Hunter is not even going to be a thing because with Call of the Wild is rotating out with Whispers of the Old Gods. So I just really don't see how Carrion Drake is going to carry the mid-range Hunter or even the control Hunter deck. I mean, it's 5 mana 3/7 is good, and Poisonous 3 mana 7 is really good, but I don't see it happening. I'm going to give this 1 star. Next up, Rat Trap is a 2 mana secret. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, you summon a thick 6/6 rat. 2 mana 6/6 is really good, obviously. But how often is your opponent going to play 3 cards? I'm also very... The problem with this card also is that there are some matchups where this is dead, right? Your opponent's just going to curve out, and they're never going to play 3 cards in a turn. So, very, very iffy card. I don't think it's going to be good. If the meta changes to a lines where people just really like playing all their cards, then Red Trap is good. I mean, 2 mana 6/6 is good. So I'm just gonna give this a meta 2-star, right? It really depends on the meta. So yeah. You never know. Everybody might be playing rogues and, you know, quest hunters and stuff like that. Who knows? Toxmonger is a 4-mana 2/4 with whenever you play a 1-cost minion, it gets poisonous. Holy Jesus, this is actually insane in the quest hunter, right? This actually makes it so your Stone Touch Spore becomes Assassinate. Your Elven Archer becomes Assassinate. Your Argent Squires and whatnot, those become insane as well. Like, this is such a high... This can do so much, right? This can actually be ridiculous. So, I think this is actually really good. Keep in mind that this does not work with Unleash the Hounds, because you do need to play a 1-cost minion, you can't just summon one. But, man, this can get really spicy. Like, really, really spicy for sure. I think this is a good card. I think this is 3 stars. I don't think that maybe putting 2 copies of Toxmonger is a little heavy, but I think this has a lot of potential. Houndmaster Shaw is the Hunter Legendary. For 4 mana, you get a 3/6, and your other minions have Rush. So all your minions have charge, which is insane, but they cannot attack the face. They just trade, right? I think this is still really good. I mean, this still is really good. I mean, come on. You trade off their minions. Your opponent has to really just remove this guy, and it's really awkward because it's a 6 health minion. I think Houndmaster Shaw is gonna be great, and you're gonna make some very decent trades. So I think I'm gonna give this 3 stars. I think this is good. And finally, the weirdest legendary to put in Hunter, right? Emeris is a 10 mana 8/8 dragon where it doubles the attack and health of all your minions in your hand. Very weird to play this in Hunter, right? I mean, it does end the game if you're somewhat in, like, if the board is somewhat even, or even if you're like a little ahead, because you play this and then all your minions become like basically unkillable. Yeah, but man, it's in Hunter. It's so weird. I think because it's in Hunter, it's not gonna be that good. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this like a 2 stars. Like, sure, you can do some cute stuff with it, but Emeris already demands you play big cards, right? Doubling Stone Touch Spore is only making it a 2/2. When if you double something like King Crush or Savannah Highmane, they get much bigger. So, yeah, I think Emeris is a 2-star card for Hunter. Alright, next up we have Mage. Starting with a LOL card, Snap Freeze is a 2-mana Shatter, but it can also freeze a minion if it's not frozen. So I think this is what Shatter should have been the whole time. This is like a fixed Shatter, but I mean, let's come on. You're playing a Shadow in your constructed deck. 0 stars. Next up, we have Black Cat. For 3 mana, you get a 3/3 Beast with spell damage +1. Okay, that's pretty interesting. And what else? If your deck has only odd cost cards, you draw a card. Now that is pretty damn spicy. It's an Azure Drake. But guess what? It's a better Azure Drake. It's a 3 mana 3/3 Azure Drake. That's actually ridiculous, right? Doesn't ask you to play Baku, like a Baku deck, but Baku decks are fine, right? Like, what if you're Mage and you have your hero power comes 2 mana, deal 2 damage? You can actually make your own steady shot. You can actually ping the face for 2. You can remove you can remove minions for 2. Like, you get a free Shadow Form at the start of the game, and you also get Azure Drake at 3. So I think Odd Mage is gonna be pretty good. Yeah, this Black Cat looks really good. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Odd Mage, let's go. Next up, Vex Crow is a 4 mana 3/3 with, whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. I mean, this does swarm the board really, really good, but I feel like that random 2-cost minions in Mage is not gonna really make it. So I don't think Vex Crow is good. I think this is an Arena card, right? Arena, you can actually get so much value out of this, but yeah, I just don't see this happening. Random 2-cost minions is not really what Mage really wants to do. Yeah, I'm pretty off this. I think we're gonna give this like 2 stars. It's still a good card, right? The rate is really good. 4 mana 3/3 summon more minions. And even if you play this on like a late turn, you can actually chain 2-cost minions, but I just don't really see this happening. Next up, Cinderstorm is a 3 mana Arcane Missiles improved. Deals 5 damage randomly split amongst all enemies. Now, you know, this might seem really bad in a Mage deck, but in an Odd Mage, this is pretty good, right? It's an odd card. It actually goes face quite well, right? Like, it's a 3 mana deal 5 damage to face if your opponent has nothing. So in that case, yeah, it could see play. It's kind of reasonable. We know that the more damage an Arcane Missiles deal, the better it becomes, right? Because Avenging Wrath just does so much damage. And this is better than Avenging Wrath because it's very, very cheap. So I think Cinderstorm is actually a fine card. I think I'm going to give this 3 stars. Curio Collector, 5 mana 4/4 with whenever you draw a card, it gains +1/+1. This is very susceptible to removal, and even if you draw more cards, then what? You get a 5 mana 7/7 or 5 mana 8/8. That's not really breaking the game. So I don't think Curio Collector is good, and I'm gonna give this 0. Bonfire Elemental is a elemental, obviously. 5 mana 5/5 elemental with, if you played an elemental last turn, so the elemental mechanic, you get to draw a card. Very, very strong if you can actually play an elemental last turn. Unfortunately, this is a little hard to play with Odd Mage. I mean, sure, you can play Firefly with this, which is interesting, but you really want to play like stuff like Leyline Elemental and Water Elemental, and then play Bonfire and then redraw, right? Elemental decks really want to just suffocate your opponents with Tempo and get more cards and then fireball your opponent in the face to win the game, right? So I think Bonfire Elemental is okay. It's actually pretty damn good. So I'm gonna give this a 3 stars. I think this is fine. This is a good card. Book of Specters is a 2 mana draw 3 cards. Oh la, ooh la la. Oh, but you have to discard any spells drawn. Now, I think this card is really, really good, right? 2 mana to draw 3. It's just ridiculous. Sure, sometimes you draw some spells and you discard them or whatnot, but imagine if this is 2 mana draw 2. 2 mana draw 2 is great. Imagine if this is 2 mana draw 1. 2 mana draw 1 is actually fine too. But if you 2 mana draw 3, that is actually ridiculous. You know, weirdly enough, I feel like that you could actually play this in Exodia Mage too, right? Late game, or you really just want to find your combo pieces, right? So 2 mana, draw your Antonidas and draw your Sorcerer's Apprentice when you already have all these random cards in your hand. I think that's actually fine. I think Book of Specters just makes a lot of sense in a lot of decks. So I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I think this is really good. Oh, interestingly enough, Book of Specters also draws Frostless Jaina. Next up, we have, oh my god, Arcane Keysmith. Oh no. 4 mana, you get a 2/2, and you discover a secret and put it into the battlefield. This is, oh my god, this is gonna be so stupid. Secret Mage is back, boys. This card is absolutely bonkers, okay? Like, 4 mana 2/2. Make a 3 mana secret. So it's effectively a 1 mana 2/2. You get to discover a secret, and then you put it on the battlefield. So you get to adapt to whatever the game plan is, right? You play against like an aggro deck, you can actually find something like Ice Barrier and it suddenly works, right? Early game, you could actually find explosive runes. If you're playing against a combo deck, you can get Counterspell. If you play against a value deck, you can get Frozen Clone or Mirror Entity. I think this is just ridiculous. This card is just not fair. I think this is just insane. I just don't see how this is going to be a bad card. I'm going to give this 5 stars. Ridiculous. Ridiculous card. Secret Mage is definitely going to be back. Alright, next up we have Archmage Arugal. For 2 mana, you get a 2/2. With whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it into your hand. Wow, what a great combo piece for Book of Specters, right? I mean, this is just like a natural combo. Obviously, you don't want to play this in turn 2. You want to play this late game. You want to play this, and then you want to draw cards, and then you get like free Mimic Pods. So that's really, really nice. Yeah, this is just a straight up value card. I don't exactly know how you can break this. I just see this as a value card. Maybe like Exodia Mage doesn't even want to play this, right? Like the Quest Mage. So yeah, I think this is just a value card. I think this is okay. I'll give this a 3 stars just because it's a 2 mana card, right? 2 mana legendaries are really, really good because you can always just play them. And finally, we got Toki Time Tinker. 6 mana 5/5 with Battlecry. Add a wild legendary to your hand. This is actually like really exciting, obviously, because you can get stuff like Dr. Boom, Sylvanas, yada yada da. Like obviously people are gonna go like, oh my god, this card is insane. But I really think that this only belongs in one deck, and it's the Control Mage, right? Control Mage can play this, and you can actually use the legendary. Whereas if you play something like an Elemental Mage or a Temple Mage, it's not really gonna work too much for you, because some legendary minions actually don't adapt to your game plan. Control Mages always can get an extra card. So I feel like because of that, we're just gonna give this 1 star. Oh, Toki's sad.